The woolly rhino is nothing new to ARK. In fact, one of the oldest dinos to ARK, released way back in late 2015 as part of patch 238, and since then has gone on to be at least a fan favourite within PvP. In fact, a creature we used to love using ourselves in ASE, but unaware to us until now, there's a few new tricks to its Ascended revision that makes this possibly an even more powerful creature than we gave it credit for before. So the question remains, of course, how powerful is it? Right, kids, it's Raasclark and welcome back to the island. It's been a hot minute since we've been on this map. And what with this creature spawning on most maps, at least in most maps that have snow biomes, I thought let's kick off with this one. Being a very simple knockout affair at 150, you'll be finding this to go down pretty quickly as long as you've got a decent long neck or crossbow to hand. And once knocked out, simply feed it its preferred food, of course. Kibble is the way. 14 kibble, superior kibble, is what you're going to need for a max 150, at least on 1x rates. But failing that, Archelon algae works a treat. You can use berries, of course, but you'll see a lower taming effectiveness as a result. And one of the big differences that you probably already know about is, of course, traits. Traits make a wide variety of difference to any creature, but there is a certain trait I'm aware that really does benefit a woolly rhino. In fact, we got pretty lucky with this one because it spawned with one of the traits we're looking for exactly, which is quick hitting, allowing to increase the attack speed of its basic attacks by 3.75% with a reduction of the damage. Now, this is what I've been informed, and we're going to do a test with that and maybe a few other traits to see and understand ourselves. There we go, that's the 14 kibble fed, turning this thing into a 44-point health rhino with 40 points in melee. Good start on a rhino. And then naturally we'll get our mate pair together so we can start popping out babies and get those stats topped up. And that popped out with 40 and 35. But traits is most certainly going to be the key game here, making sure to tame any and every rhino that you can. How do we get on with this one? 41 melee, nice. I think what you've got 44 and 40 though, so you're pretty flipping tip top anyway. So that's a great start to male, to be fair. Here's another trait we definitely want to be looking for: king slaying, and this one being a tier 2, allowing us to do an extra bit of damage to bosses, which kill the parent, and in fact worth doing because, you know, rhino horns, if you don't know, being used to make Breath of Enlightenment for some XP boosts or arthro taming, lesser antidote to cure yourself of swamp fever, or taming mantis instead of using deathworm horns at a lower affinity. And vampiric is certainly another one we want to be keeping our eyes peeled for. So now we got these. We're going to combine all our stats and traits. We'll get mating them and combining their stats. Make a saddle, unlocked to level 53 with a bit of metal and paste, hide and fiber. And now we've got quite a much more versatile rhino than the ones you remember in ASE. The big difference with rhinos is the turning of rhinos. Back in ASE, if you turn too sharply, you'd be screwed and you'd lose all momentum and you wouldn't be able to sprint anymore. Whereas in ASA, that's no longer an issue. Of course, you will get halted if you run into anything, but back in ASE, if you turn too sharply, you'd lose that momentum altogether. But as you can see, there's a few issues with this, with our running stamina. It's a big one. It depletes very, very quick, which we're going to have a look at seeing how we can improve. But as I'm sure you probably already know by now in ARK, it's got a base melee attack that can hit for a decent amount, but when sprinting and watching that rage meter fill all the way up, once it hits max and you execute, you can do 8 times the damage. Look at that. Okay, so test time against the mannequin to understand exactly how the damage distribution works when applying a few traits. A base level 1 with no imprint, we're getting 50 damage per hit. Or in fact 100 DPS if we keep spamming it. With our charge attack, we should be getting 452, which, if my math is right, would mean it's 9 times damage rather than 8 times damage. Or maybe it's an extra 800% on top. Interesting. A level 1 woolly rhino with quick hitting on top, tier 3, which gives us an extra 5% on attack speed, but a reduction of 10% in damage. Sees a base 45. But on the run, which is what I'm curious about, is 407. per hit. But of course, more hits in quicker succession. But it's still not improving that DPS, at least per second. A heavy hitting tier 3 that gives us 5% extra damage, but a reduction in attack speed by 10%. But we can obviously see exactly that. We're going to see that damage go to 52, which isn't really a great chunk forward, but seeing that damage increase to 475 on a level 1. But looking at how quickly stamina drains, this is definitely a trait we want to be looking at. High endurance, so it gets decreased at tier 3 by 8%. But I'm curious with a woolly rhino with 2 heavy hitting additions and 2 quick hitting additions if we see an improvement there, seeing it has a negative effect against the other stats. Oh, it's 407. Definitely not something you want to do, but I just thought it'd be worth showing that anyway. So, we're going to go with this, a woolly rhino with vampiric 3, so that offers a 5% increase on damage dealt. Quick hitting, although we see a damage reduction, it's going to improve our DPS. High endurance to improve that speed, and of course king slaying ×2 for bosses and alphas to see that increase on damage there. Of course, any damage to other creatures will see a reduction in 10% on each. Not forgetting, of course, mate boost could come in to help us out a little bit more, pumping that melee up just a tad at full charge. We're going to see that DPS change at 421. Again, bear in mind that is a reduction because we've now got the Kingslaying buff on, but we can improve that, of course, by now putting in full imprint, which is going to see an extra 30% damage now. Phenomenally more, pushing it up to 650. Wow, surprisingly, that's phenomenal. I guess it isn't just the imprint of 30%, it's actually the boost in the stats with the imprint we're getting as well. So instead of 125 melee base, now we've got a 149 melee base. Again, remember, this is level 1. And then of course we can improve that melee with a UT buff on top, pushing us up to 813. Again, this is a level 1. Throw on a Denatherium buff as well to now get a 15% rally going on top. Seeing that melee go up to 935 now with the 15% attack rally. Throw in an Elder Claw totem buff, which should make a difference there. And we're seeing that melee now at 982 with the Elder Claw totem buff. That's insane. This is level 1, don't forget. Remember, get a Valwyn Dino Companion, and then make sure, of course, you've got the Moral Support Offensive buff running, and you've got Tundra Power ready to hotbar and use as and when. So we'll set the default whistle skill to Tundra Power. Oh my god, that's now 1-1-3-4. That's phenomenal. And then throw on a Drakeling, why not as well, because that gives you a buff as well. Don't forget, that's going to give us an extra buff to anything we ride, giving us the Aspect of Autumn buff, which improves our melee by 5%. So with that all stat together, totem placed, the UT buff, the Drakeling, the Denatherium, the Valwyn, the mate boost, the imprint, and the Valwyn damage on top, we are looking at... Was that 1-1-9-1? I think, did we miss one? We got the rally, we got the UT buff. But you get the idea. There's a lot of pieces to this to buff that original 450 melee to more than double. In fact, if you think about it, we've gone from a 50 melee level 1 Rhino to 1082. That feels like a reduction. I don't know whether I had full charge then. 1191. I think that's the max with everything on top. That is crazy. That's level 1. That's a level 1 woolly rhino popping out over a K melee with, yeah, okay, a lot of buffs to make that happen. So we're applying all of those traits to our brand new 228 rhino with the 44 health and the 40 melee. 3-4-4-2 with that initial hit. That is absolutely full, followed by a 3-1-2-9 with all the buffs on top. Now with 60 points available to put in this thing, not quite the 88 max you're going to get, but let's be honest, getting 88 is a bit unrealistic. We'll throw that health up to 10k. The stamina certainly up to at least 1k. And the rest in melee to give us 720 melee. Possibly like to go for more than that, but still. Bearing in mind that you'd probably be trying to mutate that melee stat especially, right? But I feel like this is a worthy test without mutations. We're now looking at... Whoa! 5, 7, 7 with that initial hit, followed by a reduction down to 5, 2, 5, 2. And that's not including the Kingslaying bonus that we're about to get when fighting bosses and alphas. So, as much as I would like to see all of this come into a boss fight, or any fight, as a solo, is it attainable? I don't know, man. I mean, it looks like an amazing squad to have, but I just don't think you would do this. I think it's still all about that solo Rhino, but maybe with 1 or 2 buffs that's a bit easier to control as a solo. Naturally, we're going to want a max Sazzle applied to our Rhino, because we want to make sure it lives for 2 minutes. And being a herbivore, we want to load it up with sweet veggie cakes for that extra healing on top for any fight we're going to get into. Well, seeing that we've got the buff against alphas especially, there's an alpha out there somewhere. Where are you? Not forgetting we can shoot off the back of these things. Let's get a little run around. Slap it on, and... Oh my god. 2 hits. That's phenomenal. Alpha Rex! That's a chunky one as well, 145. That is a chunky one indeed. It's gonna hit hard. We're going to keep running at it and just hitting that melee, keeping it away from all of our companions back here. Make sure they're all safe and they don't get hurted. Coming for them big charges. Getting us a nice cheeky 2 hits in straight away. And if we can get a run in, we can get a nice rally there, keeping it pushed back. That's great. Try and pull in our foul with melee as well. Unfortunately, it just died. But we're going to go around it and just hit this thing in the back of the tail. That is working wonders. Your stamina not bad. It's certainly going to drop in a minute. Alright. But that's it down to half health. Let's just get it boxed in. If we can get around it again, that would be great. And that is phenomenal damage. Absolutely doing work. And realising as well, all these cool little buffs just probably aren't too realistic with the distance you need to run. But that went down a dozzle. 145 Rex just running around the thing. Good grief. So, ignoring all of those cool buffs that we just went through, let's have a go. With just the Drakeling buff now, that's all we're getting. Noticing berry gathering isn't a bad thing with this at all. We're running rings around the Karka, keeping well behind its tail. We are going to run out of stam though, and that could be a problem. But at least with this one, not too bad. It's down to half health now. I'm now realising maybe a few more points in stam wouldn't go amiss. Running literal rings around this Karka, mate. And done. Dead. With not a drop. Not a drop on us because of Vampiri helping us out there. I'm going to put a point in stam to pump that up a little bit more after realising our issues there. And, well, let's try the next one. And this one is definitely a big cause for concern. Holy hell, it's a 150 as well. Okay. Okay, let's do this. And we want to make sure we don't get bits like that too often. In fact, I'm noticing we're outpacing its turning circle, which is hilarious. But we can definitely keep behind this thing. Yeah, in fact, we're running quicker than we can get behind it. I think with this, and because of the stamina drain, I think it pays to definitely run off, chill out, and then come back for a minute. So that already was looking scary. Veggie Cake helping out though and healing with the Vampiric as well on top. But this is doable. Doesn't it when you've got a Carno bleeding as well? More cumbersome than I expected it to be. But I guess we can get in, get a few digs, run back out if we really wanted to. I really want to try and get this thing on a turn. It's weird, with the Karka it was quite easy to get it on a turn, whereas the Giga, not as easy. I think I'm just a bit more skittish because of that dirty bleed, right? But it seems to be incredibly focused on a lot of other things as well. Just taking out things left, right and centre. Phenomenal. I think we're just going to accept the bleed for a minute and just go round. We may have to back out for Stam. Bit rough on the resource gathering. I think that's definitely something worth noting. I'm realising well-timed melee hits is what it's all about as well. And I'm going to have to accept the bites here for a second whilst we get Stam back. Which we can, luckily. And you know what? Yeah. Giga. Not too bad of a fight at all. It's really not. 80k dealt with. We've just been a bit more skittish there. So, that of course now leaves the bosses. How do we perform against the big boys? Let's find out. Right then, test 1 without the Valwyn, because the Valwyn hasn't survived yet. We're going to bring Dinoferiums for their buff, the UT for its buff, and we are going to bring a mate Rhino for the buff. Although people swear by just simply doing this solo without anything else, I want to see all these buffs stacked on top to just make our Rhino a little bit stronger. Especially seeing we've got no mutations. But I guess what's super important with this is that we make sure that we've got that rally going on. And we're on. Oh, give me those buffs, baby. There it is. Well, there's the defense buffs at the very least. And big damage going off right now. I'm wondering, can we like run at its foot? Yes, we can. Yeah, yes, we can. We can sit right under there. Right under its toe and do some big damage. That's already down to a nice chunk of health there. Stamina replenishment seems to be going well as well. I've not been worried about stamina for a moment with these traits, I guess. Doing some solid damage. I feel like there's definitely a spot here we can sit on it to get some damage in. I'd love to be able to give it the runaround a bit. It seems to be fully focused on me, which is fascinating. I guess Rhino's weight is pretty high that it's happy to be looking at us. But yeah, going down pretty well. Not too worried about this. Dinoferiums offering their buff. I mean, you know, they're tanky. Dinoferiums are always pretty good at offering buffs. But it is all about that Rhino DPS, right? That's where the big numbers are coming from. Without a doubt. We're healing absolutely sweet with the Vampiric and the Veggie Cakes. Getting pinked around a little bit here now. Monkey Poo's creating a bit of an issue. Coming in with that big hit now. Ah, it's sailing. Done. Dead. Definitely felt like the elephants helped to carry a little bit. We're on max health. We're looking sweet. We're looking great. Veggie Cake's doing wonders on all our herbivores. Brood, I'm a little bit more scared of because this thing can slow you. And I'm stuck. See that rally? There's that rally. And there's our big numbers. Absolutely tanking some shots right now. Good grief. But yeah, spider damage is a bit of an issue. We have an absolutely Brook Beauty back there. that is already dead. This one actually might be an issue. I need to try and get back if I can. But the spiders are really creating a problem here. I can't get away from them. I need to somehow clear the ads off me to just get a sprint. But I can't. They're all slowing me down. This was my problem. This was my concern. Get at least some big damage in. There we go. Well, that is all we're getting. That is all we're getting. And that healed us up to half health. It was almost dead then. If we can get out and in. Look at all the spines stuck in the Rhino. I think, is that just a giant web? It looked like it was like spined in. Wow. That is it. That's the end. Say goodnight. Say goodnight. That's it. We're done. We're done. Try and get myself. Yeah, we're done. Spido! No. And this is the fight I really wanted to test. This is something I did really well back in ARC with a few people on Rhinos, but people have proven since this can be done solo on one singular Rhino, but a well-mutated one, which is why I want to still have these Dinoferium buffs, mate buff, and all that jazz, to at least carry us to the fight for so long. So, let's get Courage Raw on. Let's whistle everything out. And wow, oh wow, it's landed. Okay, that's interesting. Alright, well, let's let all them do their thing. And let's see how we get on now. So, we're going to run on its foot. If I can get rings on it, that'd be great. I'm already seeing some rough health on some of our fighters out here. I'm kind of stuck in it right now, can't see much. Looks like we are going to see some casualties pretty early on. Love to see it. Dinoferiums are dying now, but we are doing some fantastic damage there. Was it enough? Not too sure. Is there anyone else going to help me here? No, just going to be on my own, I guess. Another fire. There we go. That's what I was looking for. And we're going to just try and get our rings around this thing. Keep running circles. I guess solo might be the way after all. Seeing that how quick everything else has died. That is us left down to me and the other Rhino right now. Try and run rings if we can, but all these bodies are making it a bit of a nuisance. But the DPS that we're popping out is definitely helping. Okay, there we go. Right, get behind it. Get behind it. That's all the ads cleared out at least. And that is our tank gone. It is just me and the dragon now. Okay. No, just not enough. Not enough before it flew off. There's too many bodies. That's our biggest problem here. It's the amount of bodies that we're running into. So solo is... It's possibly proving solo is the way. Weirdly, the dragon's gone back up. Stamina's looking okay. Hitting body, it is. It's just the bodies. Too many bodies, dudes. Too many bodies. Oh, luckily for us, we got away with that. Let's get behind its foot again. Get the rally going. I think we've got a nice spot here that's working well. Just about. Vampiric really is keeping this Rhino in the game. Just get on that back foot again if you can. Just to chill out again. Right here. Right, there we go. No. Come on. Turn. Oh. Just screw you, turning circle. Not turning circle. Screw you, buddies! Oh, right. Okay, fine. We've learned something. We've learned something here. The buddies were a real problem. The strat is this. If you get a Rhino and you run right here, you can see that rage meter is building up. And that's what I was trying to do with the dragon. But realizing the dragon's knocking back the Rhino solo, this is virtually impossible to do without getting pinpoint accuracy or really, truly a second player. I think with the second player, this will be the way. You get it in the right spot and you're laughing. But I just simply can't do that. Running at its foot, as other people have shown, can't see that as a way either. But with a few mutations into melee, as well as a few more levels to pump it up to 1k melee instead of the 720 that we had, and bringing in a mate pair once again, just for that extra mate boost damage. Let's see how we fare now. Good to see them dim offs being cleared out this time. Just try and wrap ourselves around for the dim offs. There we go. Get rid of all of those dirty dim offs. There we go. That's some big damage. Oh, he's out there already. Okay. Really need you to just pull out the fight just a little bit more. There's us. There's us. There's us. Come on. I can just get on that horn. That'd be great. Oh, dude. Oh, we're back on. Nice big damage there. That's good to see. 4k. I just wish it was consistent. So that's what we need. Those big... Look at that. 5k. Flipping heck. First time I've seen that. If only I could do that consistently, this would be over in a jiff. It's not going to say in a little bit, but we've got a spot here that's working pretty well. Oh, wow. That was going well. That was going pretty well. And surprisingly, like, both me and the tank are healing up. Trying to desperately get that thing looking at me. I did, luckily. Right, can we get on its foot? There we go. There we go. This is what we've been looking for. It's on its toes, not on the sides. Right, just get on this toe here. That's hard to do. There's like a little chunk there. Get right between the dragon's toes. Oh. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, no. Come on, kids. Come on, kids. Our tank doing absolutely wondrous. FYI, tank has 21k health. Vampiric and Veggie Cake just about holding us in with his 10k health at this bully Rhino. I'm amazed tank has lasted the distance here, dude. Yeah, you got to be mindful of that, being stuck on the dragon's foot. That can really create a problem. I can't do nothing. I mean, at least nobody's getting set on fire. Our Rhino out there is getting healed because he's just chilling. I don't know why he's not coming. If I had that second Rhino, I'd be laughing. I don't know why you're not coming. Right, get involved. There we go. There we go. That's what we wanted. There's the big numbers. And this should be it now. If we can just get the right area, this might be it. That's it. Pump that melee up. Go on, son. This could be it. This could be the moment. 1, 4, 6. Come on. Finally. After a lot of testing. Oh, the dragon is down. Woo! So, how powerful is it? It's as powerful, as experienced as you are with a Rhino. So I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, you know what to do. Comment below and all that jazz. Let me know what creature you want me to test next. Until the next one. My name's Raasclark. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And as always, peace out.